My name is Ian Pratt-Hartman. I teach computer science at the University of Manchester in England and also at the University of Opole in Poland. I started studying mathematics and philosophy when I was a young man. I went to Oxford and studied that for 3 years, and at the end of my bachelor's studies I went to the United States, and there I did a PhD in philosophy at Princeton University. And after my PhD studies I returned to England to take up my current job at Manchester.
We are students from Warsaw, and we are also participants of the project Filomates, in which we are trying to guess maybe connections between philosophy and mathematics. And we want to ask you some questions connected to philosophy and also mathematics.
First of all, we would like to ask you, what interested you in philosophy so much that you decided to somehow spend your life exploring it?
Oh, that's a very hard question. I think I've always been interested in mathematical and philosophical questions since I was young. When I was a student, I studied mathematics and philosophy together, and I've been interested in questions like what is a number? Is mathematics true? Why is it true? How can we be so sure that mathematics is true? What do mathematical statements even mean? And so on. And I think I can't really remember a time when I didn't ask myself these questions. Perhaps that sounds rather strange, but I think that's the truth.
Do you know the answers now?
Do I know the answers to the questions? What is a number? What is true? Yeah, I mean, okay, I know a lot more about the questions, right? I know a lot more about what it means for something to be an answer to those questions. And I know a lot more mathematics. And I think that if you want to understand the philosophy of mathematics, it's a very good idea to make sure that you know as much mathematics as possible, because otherwise you don't really get a good view of the subject. I mean, you need to know how a mathematician actually works, to know really what mathematics is, and even to understand the questions.
And as far as our project is concerned, so tell us something about those connections between philosophy and mathematics.
On the one hand, philosophers are very interested in the phenomenon of mathematics, in mathematical problems, the kinds of things I was just talking about now. For example, philosophers just naturally ask, what is a number? Well, they ask what is all sorts of things, but among other things they ask what is a number, and since that clearly involves mathematical considerations, those are some connections that immediately arise between mathematics and philosophy. Again, how can we be so sure? Philosophers are often very interested in knowledge. How can we know things? Now, much knowledge comes about through experimentation and observation. But mathematical knowledge doesn't seem to come that way. It seems to be knowledge of a special category. And yet at the same time, it seems to have a very special role in the empirical sciences generally. So one very important issue in philosophy is what is the role of mathematics in the empirical science? On the one hand, philosophy doesn't seem to be an empirical science. You just know mathematics by proving theorems. On the other hand, it's important in the physical sciences. Physics, chemistry, biology, as we know them today, would not be possible without mathematics, and certainly, of course, engineering.
Working as a computer scientist, do you see any connection or profits from your college educational background, from your education in mathematics and philosophy?
In terms of philosophy, certainly. The main area of contact between computer science and philosophy is probably the area of artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is the enterprise of programming computers to react like humans in human-like ways, to show understanding of the environment in which they're operating. And these are partly philosophical questions. They're not just engineering questions. In order to get a computer to understand its environment, to answer intelligently to questions, to process text intelligently. The computer, we have to know not just how to write programs, we also have to know what it means to understand one's environment, what it means to answer a question intelligently. And those are to a large extent philosophical questions, not just technological questions.